Awesome, awesome. So it is now 12 o'clock. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining. Let's give people a minute or so to join us here, and then we can go ahead and get started.
It's like a doorbell each time.
And we're just letting them in. Welcome, everyone. We will get started shortly. We have a pretty good amount of people in already, so very exciting. And we can definitely get started in maybe a few more seconds, just while everyone gets their footing. There's another one at the door. Awesome. Alrighty, well, welcome everyone. And while people get situated, I hope you're all enjoying your morning, now afternoon so far. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I'm very excited to be here. Unfortunately, I will not be giving the presentation, but so I am just here to learn and help host this amazing event. I was telling our host, Rebecca, or presenter Rebecca, that I actually joined this workshop because I wanted to learn, and now I have the pleasure of hosting it. So you're probably wondering, who the heck am I? My name is Judith Gutierrez, and I serve on the UCSC Alumni Council. I was the youngest member, class of 2018, for a few years, and now my amazing colleague, who's class of 2019, has gratefully taken that title. But it's been such an honor to be a part of the group, and I'd be happy to share any information if anyone has any questions. My college is Rachel Carson. It was College 8 at the time when I joined. So happy it has a name now. As I mentioned, my year is 2018, and my major was politics with a focus in American politics and public policy. As mentioned, I serve on the UCSC Alumni Council, which supports the educational calling of UC Santa Cruz. Counselors like myself are alumni volunteers. We do not get paid for our work, and we just provide leadership to UCSC's Alumni Association and work towards supporting the overall UCSC community. So happy to be here today. There will be time for questions throughout this workshop, so feel free to add your questions in the chat box. Once we open for questions, you may also raise your hand if you prefer. We ask everyone stay muted until called on to avoid any background noise or distractions. This event is being recorded, so feel free to turn your camera off if you prefer not to be on video. And now, with that being said, I am so happy to pass it over to our amazing presenter, Rebecca Hazelton, who will be discussing the 3 keys to unstoppable health. So over to you, Rebecca.
Great, thanks, Judith. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you. So glad that you're joining me today for the 3 keys to unstoppable health, your path to more energy, better digestion, and feeling great. And thanks so much to UCSC for having me back. I really appreciate the invitation. It's such an honor to be here, and I really appreciate each of you taking the time out of your lives to be here with me today. So as Judith mentioned, my name is Rebecca Hazelton. I am the founder of Functional Health and Unstoppable Health Coaching. I'm a licensed nutritionist, a certified functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, a heart math stress resilience coach, and transformational health and lifestyle coach. I love learning, if you couldn't tell. I love learning, I love helping people, and I'm incredibly passionate about the connection of diet, lifestyle, and mindset to transform lives. And I've been in the health and wellness field for, nearly 20 years. And I help people whose health symptoms are getting in the way of their living life fully, especially symptoms related to weight imbalance, gut and digestive symptoms, and low or inconsistent energy. And I help those individuals to regain their health so that they do feel great and free to enjoy their lives again. And I want to start out by defining unstoppable health. This means having the physical, mental, and emotional vitality that makes you feel like your best self. And it means feeling complete freedom in your body to do what you want when you want. Now, let's take a moment together to do an easy self-quiz to allow you to see, where your system might not be working as well as you'd like it to. And don't worry, I'm not going to be grading this. No one's going to be putting your answers up on the screen. So this is really just for you to take an inventory. So I'm going to ask a few questions and just answer to yourself, or if you want to share in the chat, you're welcome to. How many of you feel trapped or unfree in your body sometimes? How many of you have inconsistent or lower energy than you'd like to have? Deb posted in the chat, everything hurts, love it. I know, right? Sad but true. How many of you have a weaker immune system than you'd like? Do you have an imbalance in your inflammation, such as chronic pain, arthritis, headaches, skin condition of any sort, or gum disease? Those are all examples of inflammation. And how about weight imbalance or sleep trouble? And how many of you, some of you are like throwing up your hands, I love it, although I'm sorry. How many of you also struggle with some kind of digestive thing, right? Like irregular bowel movements, like constipation and diarrhea. I shouldn't chuckle about these, but some of your facial expressions they're just lovely. Thank you for being interactive. So yeah, some sort of digestive thing, constipation, diarrhea, heartburn, nausea. Yeah, and some of you are posting. Yes, yeah, got that going on. Well, you're certainly in the right place today. Thank you for being here again, because I'm here to share with you, it's all related. Did you know that? It's all related. So I'm here to share the key that unlocks your health and wellness to bring you more freedom and feel unstoppable in your body. So after, over the past nearly 2 decades, I've discovered that there's really one thing that is the key to all the health issues. I wish we had like a little drum roll right now. It's your gut. So by this, I mean that your gut, your digestion, it's tied to everything else in your body. And what's going on with your gut is an indicator of bigger system issues. And changing your gut can change everything else in your body. And I'm going to explain this a bit more as we go along. And I'm going to share with you how the health of your gut is the #1 most important thing to creating optimal health and the feeling of freedom in your body. And we're going to cover how generic diets, an unregulated nervous system, and an imbalance in your gut bugs is undermining your health and causing your symptoms. I'll also be sharing with you 3 keys to help you learn how to support your unique dietary needs, your unique gut needs, and support your nervous system so that you can transform your energy, your weight, your inflammatory symptoms, and your inflammatory system, and fix your symptoms. And I also have a free gift to help you have unstoppable health and really enjoy your life more fully. So please be sure that you stick around to the end. So before we really get started, I just want to out myself right now. I love to talk about poop. And I know that that is a weird thing. It can be an uncomfortable topic, but I want to help all of you just shake off the discomfort and embrace that your poop is great feedback. Okay, yeah, thumbs up to that. It's great feedback, and your poop tells you about your gut and the rest of your health. And for me, talking about poop, it's like your gut is telling you how you're doing on any given day. It says a lot about how this incredibly important system is working. So your gut is the key that can unlock the trappings of your health. So what is your gut anyway? Your gut is where you bring in food fuel, right? And you convert it into energy, okay? Energy that you need to thrive. And that's why it's considered the gas station of the body. And your gut includes your mouth, your stomach, your small intestine, your large intestine, and the millions of bacteria that live there and are in charge of all sorts of important functions. Now, one of the most important functions of your gut and your gut bacteria is how it's an essential part of your nervous system, which I'm going to talk more about with you. Your gut is also where about 80% of your immune system lives. And your immune system is what controls inflammation. And so many people struggle with inflammation. So I like to connect the dots here. Now, your gut is also, of course, where you digest and absorb food to create energy and mental prowess and also mood balance. So your gut is truly at the root of your health and well-being. Now, before diving into the 3 keys that can help you unlock your unstoppable health, I'd like to quickly share a story with you about part of my health journey and how I learned why gut health is at the root of health. You see, I was actually my first client, and 18 years ago, just heads up, this is a bit of a sad story, but there's a silver lining. But my little brother got diagnosed with cancer, and he was 18 years old, and he fought it hard for 2 years, but it was an incredibly aggressive cancer, and he died at the age of 20. And my whole world fell apart when he died. We were really close, and it was devastating. And if you've lost anyone close to you, you know how it feels. Like, it really can't be explained, but you know how it feels. So here I was, trying to keep my head above water. I was trying to grow my business, and my own health took a downturn. And it started out, I was feeling more tired than usual. I was having a hard time remembering things and concentrating. I was having some gas and bloating. I put on a few pounds. And here's the thing, even though I was taking the best care of myself that I knew how to at the time, which was more than most because I was in the industry, over a few months, my symptoms got worse. They got more frequent. I started having headaches, low back pain, this brain fog that got worse, and low energy that got worse. Now, thankfully, after I graduated from my postgraduate training in nutrition and functional diagnostic nutrition school, I was able to run some functional lab tests on myself. Now, these are different than what most of the tests you may have had run at your doctor's office, which those are really looking for disease, which I didn't have. So unfortunately, my doctor wasn't able to help me. And the labs didn't really show anything, but the functional labs that I ran were immensely helpful. And they showed me just where I needed to, roll up my sleeves, right? And help my body to heal. So using these 3 keys that I'm going to be sharing with you today, I was actually able to regain my health. And not only that, I was actually able to get into the best health of my life and develop a system that helps people just like you to discover where their best health has been hiding. So now I'd love to talk with you about what's causing your symptoms, what's getting in the way of your unstoppable health. So I'm going to say what they are, and then we're going to talk about each one and how it applies to you. First, let's look at how generic diets are a block in creating unstoppable health. Your nutritional needs are as unique as your fingerprints are. Generic diets can lead to health problems. So the foods that you need to be slim and pain-free and energized and sleep great and feel really healthy, those are often different than what your coworker might need or what your friend or family member might need. And it's really easy to just want to do what someone else is doing when you see it working for them. They're getting great results. But I've seen many people fall into this trap, and it either doesn't work for them or it makes them feel worse. Has this ever happened to you? because it's happened to me. And the missing link is that, yeah, some of you are acknowledging, yeah, that's happened to me. So the missing link is that your biochemistry, how your body works on the inside, is unique. Now, let me give you some examples. So some people need to eat a lot of fat in order to stay lean and to have good energy and not be hungry every 2 hours. While that same diet will make others feel weighed down and sluggish in their body, foggy thinking. So the first key number 1 to unstoppable health is to customize and optimize your diet. So your body has a set of nutritional requirements that's specific to you. We all have something called biochemical individuality. You may have heard of that. We're all unique both on the inside and on the outside. So while we all need all the vitamins and all the minerals, the amounts of each of those is, that each of us needs is unique. Now we metabolize or we use up vitamins and minerals, proteins, fats, and carbohydrates at different rates from one another. And this is a primary reason that a one-size-fits-all approach to diet just doesn't work. Now, a great place to start, you might be wondering, is to make sure that you've got the basics dialed in. So I'm going to share some examples with you. First thing is eat clean food as often as possible. What do I mean by clean food? Well, this means fresh, organic produce that doesn't have glyphosate, which is a pesticide, and other chemicals that are known to be toxic and inflammatory to your body. And a great guide for this is the Environmental Working Group's Dirty Dozen list. They have 2 lists. Yeah, some of you know. Yep. So the Dirty Dozen list, or you can look up the Clean 15 list by the Environmental Working Group, or EWG. They do great research, and they tell us each year what's the most heavily sprayed and what's the least, so that if it's not available for you to get everything organic, you can really make what you are getting organic count the most, and you can stay away from those worst options. So I encourage you to eat plenty of these clean vegetables, leafy greens, and fruits every day. And make sure you're eating some fat with your veggies so you can absorb important fat-soluble vitamins. You also want to make sure to balance your omega-6s and omega-3s. So this is another tip I have for you. Both of these fatty acids are considered essential because your body can't make them, can't make either one of them. So unfortunately, processed foods and then oils like corn, canola, soybean, and also animals fed on these plants are dangerously high in omega-6 fatty acids while being low in omega-3 fatty acids. This leads to the creation of weaker cell walls throughout your body and an imbalance in your body's inflammatory system, because omega-6s promote inflammation while omega-3s calm inflammation down. And in order to have balance, you actually need the proper ratio of these fatty acids. And it's, I consider it similar to, you need a car that has properly working brakes and gas in order to be able to drive smoothly. So you need a healthy balance of these fatty acids in order to have a healthy body and manage that inflammation. Now, to help achieve this balance, you could avoid eating animals that are raised on corn and soy-based feed. So those are going to, be much more high in omega-6s than, if you look at the labels and you seek out things, animal proteins or animal foods that are 100% grass-fed, wild-caught, pastured. You get pastured eggs, for example. So that would be a way that you can help balance your omega-6s and 3s. because you can't get healthy from eating sick plants and sick animals. Another recommendation I have is limit or avoid oils like corn oil, soybean oil, and canola oil, and instead get oils into your system like olive oil, avocado, and flax. Now, of course, you can also eat the, you can eat olives, you can eat avocado, you can eat flax seeds. But when you're using oils, those are oils I encourage. Coconut's another really good one. Now, with olive oil and avocado oil and flaxseed oil, it's important to get them in dark bottles because light damages oils. So if you want them to be fresher, last longer, and be healthier for your system, you want to get them in dark containers. Some other suggestions I have for you: you can boost your cell protection, the protection of your cells, and boost your immune system when you use spices and herbs like turmeric, cloves, garlic, sage, and rosemary. Those are all really great for your immune system and help your cells to function properly. And berries, especially blueberries, they're wonderful anti-inflammatory foods. Karen asks, should oils be refrigerated? That's a great question, Karen. You certainly can. It can make some of them that are supposed to be liquid harder to use, but it definitely will preserve the shelf life of the oil if it is kept in the fridge. And especially with flaxseed oil, it should absolutely be kept in a cool space like a refrigerator. Good question. Now, lastly, and most importantly, to skillfully and confidently customize your diet, I recommend testing. Specifically, the metabolic typing advanced test is something I do with every single client. I actually got trained in how to coach people, how to interpret the test and how to coach people with this, because it was such a game changer for myself. And, over the decades, I've seen it make such a huge difference for so many clients. This is really the only way to go forward with confidence that you're supporting your unique biochemistry. So remember a bit ago, I talked about how your body may need more of certain vitamins and minerals and less of others. This is how you find out which ones. And your results will also let you know which parts of your nervous system need extra support and which foods are going to provide that support for you. So it's my go-to test for customizing nutrition. Now, this level of dietary customizing, it's like hitting reboot on your system. You learn how to decode your body language in response to different foods. You learn which food combinations can make food choices easier for you, which ones are going to make you feel your best, which is invaluable. Now, what else can you start doing immediately? Because I don't have a magic wand. I can't test all of you right now and download those results to you. So what can you start doing immediately? Well, you can start experimenting with different types and amounts of each of the macronutrients. There's 3: protein, fat, and carbohydrates. Those are the macronutrients. And you can experiment with those, both the types and the amounts, so that you can develop the best meal combinations for yourself. You'll notice about an hour or so after you eat, you can tell that it worked or not. You can tell it worked because you feel better and you have more energy. And over time, your other, more notable symptoms will resolve, like you'll maintain a healthy weight, your digestion will work well, your skin will clear up. Okay, so you can see on your screen on the slide examples of different, proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. And I also recommend some sort of food journaling system in the short term anyway. It doesn't have to be a lifelong habit to food journal, but writing down what you eat, when you ate, and how you feel 1 to 2 hours afterward makes it a whole lot easier to recognize patterns and to dial in your ideal food combinations. So when I first started with a woman named Cindy, she'd been having a lot of symptoms. She'd had a lot of digestive symptoms, and she'd been having them for years. So when we met, she was gassy, she was bloated, she had weight gain in her midsection, and she worked out a lot, but it's like, as she called it, she's like, I can't get rid of this muffin top. I'm working out an hour a day. I don't know like what else I can do. She also had a lot of sweet cravings, and maybe you can relate to some of these things, some of these symptoms. Well, shortly after customizing her food, her gut symptoms that she thought would never go away because she'd had them for so long, they went away. They were gone. She also dropped 17 pounds fairly quickly, which wasn't even her primary focus, but what a nice effect. And she didn't go on an elimination diet. She ran some tests so that she knew exactly which foods were ideal for her metabolism. And now, years later, she is just feeling free in her body. Her digestion's great. She feels awesome when she eats. She knows just intuitively now what foods are going to work for her. So cool. So cool. Now, the second big disruptor of your health is an unregulated nervous system. So I want to explain this a bit. Your stress response, which involves your nervous system and your stress hormones, it has your gut on speed dial. Now, your nervous system includes your brain, your spine, and your nerves. It's the center for communication, and it runs all your other systems. So to say it's important would be a bit of an understatement. Now, a lot of things work automatically in your body because of your nervous system's autonomic branch. So autonomic sounds like automatic. That's how I remembered it in school. Now, what does that regulate? Well, your heartbeat, your breathing, your digestion, and even parts of your immune system, they all work automatically thanks to this part of your nervous system. And there's a four-way connection between your heart, your brain, your lungs, and, you guessed it, your gut. Okay, you got this four-way connection. Now, when you perceive things in your environment as stressful, your brain releases a hormone called CRH, or corticotropin releasing hormone. And that connects to your amygdala, which is in your brain. It's your stress center in your brain. Now, this hormone affects your motility, or how food travels through you, your digestion, and the absorption of that food, and also the bacterial balance in your body that, among other things, participates in your immune function and regulates inflammation. There's not going to be a test on this. So if you didn't get all of that, don't worry, just get that. There's this connection, and it's really amazing. Now, I said stress perception. Perception is the key point here. If you perceive things as stressful often, your system is going to get activated often, and your stress response gets into a habit of being overeager. Now, because your amygdala and your heart and your gut are all connected by a nerve called the vagus nerve, it's one of the main reasons why emotions and emotional stress have a big impact on gut health. Probably a lot of you have noticed that there is a connection. This is why that connection exists. And it's also why when you try to address gut issues solely through food or supplements isn't effective long-term. Addressing emotional stress has to be part of the solution, which I'm going to talk more about in just a bit. Right, we had a question. Is that like feeling hungry after eating? Oh, I think, sorry, Deb, I missed what that was in reference to. Yeah, sorry. Okay, I'll keep going. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, a great question though. I'm glad you're relating to the information here. So CRH also influences gut motility. I mentioned motility, how food travels through your system. So when that stress hormone level is out of balance, it can slow down transit time in the small intestine. which is higher up, right after the stomach is the small intestine. So food sits there and ferments. Hello, gas and bloating, right? You can just totally imagine that. But that when CRH is out of balance, it speeds up motility in the large intestine. So this can really disrupt healthy bowel movements. And this is a primary reason that stress and imbalanced CRH levels are linked to irritable bowel syndrome and irritable bowel disease. Deb, I think you were referring to the nervous system being out of whack and feeling hungry after eating, like if the motility is disrupted. So yeah, that is totally connected. Okay, imbalanced CRH also inhibits digestive juices. Both enzymes needed to break down your food and hydrochloric acid or stomach acid. So you really need strong levels of stomach acid to break down your food and kill off any pathogens that are trying to enter your body through your digestive tract, which happens all the time. In fact, having too little stomach acid is actually responsible for more heartburn cases and GERD than high stomach acid levels are. Or then what did I say? Low stomach acid is responsible for GERD more than high stomach acid. Just to make sure I got that clear. Interesting, right? Most people think that we need to like have lower stomach acid, but I'm telling you the opposite. You actually need robust stomach acid. Super, super important. And oftentimes if you're experiencing GERD or heartburn, you actually might have low stomach acid. So that hydrochloric acid is also the first line of defense against foodborne pathogens. And in case you were wondering, we are exposed to thousands of microbes in our food and in our water on a daily basis. Yeah, Deb, yes, indeed. And Karen, question, I've read that natural production of stomach acid decreases as age increases. Yes, unfortunately, that is accurate. However, Karen, I will mention that I think a lot of age-related things are linked to the repetition of our lifestyle and how we're taking care of ourselves. So if we're maybe not taking the best of care of ourselves, and you continue to not take great care of yourself, and that accumulates, I honestly think that is more connected to symptoms as we age than just getting older. Because I know some really fit, healthy people in their later years. So, and we're all going to get older. So, hey, I choose to be optimistic about you can actually do a lot about that. That's a great question. Yeah, thank you for confirming in the chat. Okay, where was I? So hydrochloric acid, we are exposed to microbes. Yeah, oh, so you are more likely to get infected by microbes in food and water when you're chronically emotionally stressed out and you're experiencing these hormonal changes that we've been talking about, and it decreases your stomach acidity. I hope that makes good sense now. Stress hormones also alter your microbiome. Your gut bugs are very important for protecting you against infections. They're a central part of your immune system. They make key vitamins. They help you digest your food. They are amazing. So keeping hormonal balance and a regulated nervous system is critical for this first line of defense against infections, a healthy balance of beneficial bacteria in your gut, and the overall functioning of your gut. Now, after all that talk about stress, I bet you're eager for the second key to unstoppable health, which is regulating your emotional stress and nervous system. Every single one of us needs to have effective tools in place to what's called emotionally self-regulate throughout your day. Now, you just heard what happens when your stress, when stress affects your system and like you get unregulated, and how easy it is to get dysregulated. Now, to regulate yourself, to regulate your emotions, it's a fundamental tool for long-term wellness. Otherwise, when you get triggered by something that is stressful, your your system, just your hormonal system, your nervous system, it gets unbalanced and it stays unbalanced for hours. And this can cause energy drains. I mean, imagine, yeah, it can cause drains to your energy, hormonal imbalance, and of course it can weaken your gut. We just talked about that. Of course it's going to do that. Oh, thanks for the time check, Barb. So emotional stress is a huge cause of the very symptoms you don't want to have. And chances are you aren't using effective self-regulation currently. And this is going to make a powerful difference for you to add. So one of the tools I teach my clients is called heart math. And I first learned about heart math when I was an undergrad at UCSC. So these are tools that you can use on the go right there in those moments of stress where you shift your breathing and your attention, and like magic, your heartbeat changes and it starts to send different instructions up to your brain. And this shifts you out of your unhealthy stress response. Your breath is the only part of your parasympathetic nervous system, also known as your rest and digest branch, that's within your conscious control. All the other ones happen automatically, but your breath is something you can consciously control. You can consciously change it. So do this with me. You can slow it down. You can make it deeper. You can breathe out of your nose. And that starts to shift your heartbeat. And it's like changing the conversation in your brain and in your hormonal response away from stress. So when you combine that with the other elements of heart math, it's very effective at shifting you out of an unhealthy stress pattern and into a regulated one. And you can do it all day long, as often as you need. So when you regulate your nervous system, you support oxytocin production, which is a key hormone in gut health. You help balance out that stress hormone cortisol, and you feel better. And feeling better is really why we do any of this. I've got a couple of questions in the chat. So thanks, Barbara. Could not. Yeah, thanks. Yes, heart math. Yes, good. Okay, so quick example. So my client, Mary, when she came to me, she's like a great example of the results you can have when you regulate your nervous system. When we first started, she had so much stress. She was a working mom and she was overweight. She had sugar cravings. She was exhausted a lot of the time. And she thought in order to heal, she'd have to pretty much like, you know, isolate and live in a bubble and like never socialize and, you know, meditate all day long, right? So like, I don't know how to make myself feel better. I don't know what to do. But she had this idea that it would take all of this unrealistic action, but it wasn't true. And now she's 40 pounds lighter. She eats things that she enjoys that make her body feel good. And she's regulating her nervous system regularly. And that was the game changer for her. She actually couldn't make any of the other changes until we got that piece locked in place. And then she was able to be in a state where she could actually then make more mindful choices and feel, you know, in charge again. Yeah, some of you, yeah, reminder to get back into Kundalini yoga. Yeah, absolutely. Great. Yes, there's so many great access points to regulating your nervous system. I bring up heart math because I'm such a fan of things that you can do right away, like as close to the source of stress as possible. But any way that you regulate your stress that's healthy is a great thing to do. So I encourage people, like, do a lot of different things, you know, pick a few that really resonate. So, okay, before we get into the nitty gritty of this really exciting next section of how your gut acts as the gatekeeper to your digestion and your immune system, I have a gift that I want to share with you. It's a complimentary phone consultation, and it's called an Unstoppable Health Discovery Session. And it's a great opportunity for you if you want to get some help regaining your health. So in this free session, we'll look at, what's missing for you to have the health and freedom that you want to have. And I'm offering spots to the first 10 people that apply. If you're seriously ready to get healthier now, if it's a priority, but you're not sure how, and you're not sure what's missing, then I'd love to connect with you. So you can apply by going to my online calendar, which is on your screen, and I'm going to share it at the end. So you don't need to be stressing out, no stress. I'm going to put it in the chat at the end. And oh, thank you, Barbara, you're so on it. Thank you for sharing that. And it will be shared again at the end of the talk. Now let's explore the third cause of health blocks, which is uninvited gut guests and leaky gut. I'm going to unpack that with you. So let's take a deeper look at your gut and how it works so that you know what you need to feel better. So this slide here is what your gut lining looks like. These gut cells that you see on your screen, they form a barrier. They form a barrier between your digestive system and your bloodstream. So you can see at the bottom of the slide here is like this red squiggly lines. That's like on the other side of that would be your bloodstream. And up here, it's like a tube, and your food interacts right here. You can see my little mouse wiggling around here. So this is where your food's interacting with your gut. Hasn't gone into the bloodstream yet. Okay. So this is also called the mucosal barrier, and it's your second skin. This is where digestion and absorption of your food takes place. Now, the job of this lining is to let nutrients pass through it into your bloodstream and keep out all the rest, like infections, pesticides, toxins. Okay, it's like a screen door that lets in air and light, but it keeps out mosquitoes and flies and birds. Okay, so this is when it's working well. It does all of that when it's working. But guess what? Poor food choice, wrong diet for your body, eating quickly, overeating, perceiving stressors as threats rather than challenges, inadequate sleep, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs to manage pain and inflammation. These are some of the examples, common examples, that create a great environment in your gut, in those cells, to not be able to digest and absorb your food properly. Okay, and it creates a great environment for uninvited or opportunistic gut bugs and imbalances. So things like bacterial imbalance, infections, and also something called leaky gut. And I'm sure many of you have heard that term, but you might actually not know what it means. So I want to unpack that for a moment. Leaky gut is when your gut cell lining, it's no longer selectively letting things through it into your bloodstream, but instead it's like there's a gap or a hole, and anything that wants to pass through it can. Okay, it would be like a hole in your screen, and things just can get in that really we don't want it. So things like pesticides and toxins and pathogens like bacteria, viruses, or parasites. Leaky gut is at the root of so many symptoms. It's like a laundry list. So things like low energy, brain fog, body pain, excess weight, trouble sleeping, reduced immune function, increased food sensitivities or allergies, headaches, irregular bowel movements, gas, bloating, skin issues. I mean, I could keep going, but we don't have time. So a lot of things, a lot of symptoms can be linked to leaky gut. And here's something I want to underline. A really important fact for you to know is that when you have leaky gut, your body isn't able to contain its own bacterial metabolite. So there's something called LPS, or lipopolysaccharide. Some of you may be familiar with, otherwise, it's okay if you've never heard of it, but you now are being introduced to it. This is like your gut bugs' poop. So your healthy bugs, they poop. And that has to be contained and controlled. And if you have leaky gut, that poop spills into your bloodstream. And it causes, as you can imagine, widespread inflammation. So when you have leaky gut and that gut bugs' poop gets everywhere, super inflammatory. So whether you have an infection, uninvited gut guests in your gut or not, having a healthy gut is essential for you to be healthy, to feel your best, and to avoid diseases down the road. So if you want to feel great in your body and address the root of why you're having symptoms, the third key that you really need is to seal and heal your gut. Quick question. Does lack of gallbladder influence, I'm guessing LPS, the lipopolysaccharide? It's involved. It's not like if you don't have a gallbladder, you won't be able to control and have a healthy gut, Deb. You can, but there are some additional things that need to be incorporated with your diet and lifestyle to really support that cleansing system, because you are right on when you ask that question. Your gallbladder does a lot to clean out microbial overgrowth in your gut. Yeah, so great question there. You're welcome. Okay, let's see. So yes, so a great way to help seal and heal your gut is to incorporate healing foods into your diet. We've already talked about some examples of that, yeah? But I want to include a few other things that are going to help your gut cells function and help reduce inflammation. So things like bone broth, gelatin, and collagen, these contain key nutrients, but they've got to come from healthy animals, right? Can't get healthy from sick animals. So they need to be good sources of the bone, either bone broth, collagen, or gelatin. And all of these, they're different forms of essentially the same thing, which is bone broth. The gelatin and collagen are powdered versions of that. Gelatin is gelatinous, collagen is not. Collagen has been completely broken down into individual amino acids. So it's they're all very absorbable, but that one would be the most absorbable. And they're all high in proline and glycine and glutamine, which help seal and heal your gut, help detoxify toxins, and help those cells. So, all right, thanks for the time check. I'm going to move along. So in general, fermented foods are also going to help feed your good gut flora, strengthen your digestion, and this can really help your gut to do its job well. So foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, fermented vegetables, fermented pickles, not pickled, not just pickled, not brined, but fermented, kombucha, kvass, raw dairy, those are living foods with a lot of beneficial bacteria in them. Now they can be contraindicated. So if you have a yeast or a fungal imbalance, or problems breaking down histamine, or if you have a condition called SIBO, which stands for small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, you're gonna wanna check with your practitioner first before incorporating fermented foods, or you're gonna wanna get a practitioner like myself who can help you to work on these conditions so that you can heal. Okay, so a bonus tool I want to quickly mention is running a great test to further explore your gut health can help you in many ways. You can see whether you do have pathogens, an imbalance in your good versus bad or opportunistic bacteria. You can see if you have yeast overgrowth or parasites, or see if you have leaky gut. And this, you can imagine, this can allow you to much more quickly and effectively create healing opportunities for yourself. Unfortunately, this thorough of a test, as of yet, is not offered in primary care. It's not a go-to with your medical doctor. I hope someday it will be, but it is available through some alternative health practitioners. I run this test with a lot of clients. Okay, since we are short on time, I'm gonna skip this testimonial, even though it's so great. And I just want to recap with you that your gut is the key to unstoppable health, and the 3 tools or 3 keys to help you enjoy your life and feel better in your skin are customizing your food, regulating your nervous system, and sealing and healing your gut. And I shared quite a few ways that you can start to do that. So as we've explored symptoms aren't normal. They're common, but they're not normal. And you really want to spend your time and energy getting to the root of what's causing it so that you can have long-term lasting results. Now, if you have been struggling with symptoms for a while, I really encourage you to go deeper. Your body's trying to communicate with you, something's off, and you're worth looking into why that's going on. So you might need to go deeper in some of these principles. You really might need to get into action on some of these keys or all 3 of these keys. I encourage you to do that. For me, it wasn't an automatic process to heal. I needed testing, I needed help. So there's no shame in that. If you've been struggling for a while and trying to do it on your own, then this is an opportunity for you to try something new. And if you need support, as I mentioned, I'm offering that discovery session, and I have been working virtually with clients for years. So that is something I can offer to you. Okay, so I really want to thank you again for joining me today. And I am going to offer all of you a bonus gift. So if you don't already get my weekly newsletter, I will sign you up for that. I'll get a list of your emails after, and I want to share this Unstoppable Health Guide with you later today to reinforce some of the core teachings of today. So thanks again for joining me. I hope you got a lot out of what I shared with you. And yeah, thank you so much. And hopefully I ended on time, Barbara.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. This was really eye-opening. I feel like that's been the sentiment throughout this whole workshop. It's been eye-opening. So thank you for providing that information. I think at a time where we are especially just adapting as people to a highly stressful environment with the pandemic, with, political issues, war, I think we are all definitely feeling that lull and just trying to stay afloat and stay above it. And so it was definitely good to see that there are ways of getting back on track, but it's nice to also kind of break that stigma, knowing that we're not alone and that we can always ask for help. So I encourage you all to sign up for that 15-minute session. I know I did. So definitely looking forward to our chat, Rebecca. So thank you again. And thank you all for joining this great event. I hope you will be enjoying more events this alumni week. I'd like to invite you to join me this Saturday at 4 p.m. in person at the Cowell College Courtyard for the Cheers to 30 Years, event. Barbara will put the registration link in the chat box. We are celebrating the 30th anniversary of the Alumni Association Scholarship Fund, which provides students who have financial need a $3,000 annual scholarship until they graduate. A generous donor committed to match every donation we receive during Alumni Week, $1 for $1, up to $30,000. Every gift to the scholarship fund makes a difference and will be doubled. So thank you in advance, and thank you to those who have donated. I hope others will continue to join and donate. Barbara will put the link to make a donation to a scholarship in the chat box as well. So feel free to give to the scholarship fund. And then finally, if you'd like to stay connected and reach out to the alumni office anytime with questions and ideas, Barbara will put the alumni email address in the chat box for you. That's alumni@ucsc.edu. So let's hear it for Rebecca. Thank you so much again for this wonderful presentation, this eye-opening presentation. And I wish you all an amazing rest of your day, an amazing alumni week. And I hope to see you all this weekend. Thank you.
So thank you, Judith. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you.
This was awesome.
Thank you.
That was really fun. Great to see everybody.
Really appreciate it.